Welcome to the Enhanced Living Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Kruger. I believe that we all have within us the power to be everything that we are meant to be and so much more. This show is a weekly dose of practical and spiritual principles, strategies, tips, and ideas to help you grow into the best version of yourself. Here's to becoming exactly who you were meant to become. I've been called a human Swiss Army knife because I'm a TV host, inspirational speaker and coach, live event MC and DJ, certified yoga and Ayurveda teacher, functional fitness enthusiast, author, husband, and dad with a voracious appetite for knowledge, and I'll be sharing real talks with successful people from all walks of life, spiritual teachers and masters, and experts in many different fields. I'll also share my own perspective that I've gained from over 20 years of diligent meditation and spiritual work so we can all experience enhanced living. Are you ready to evolve? Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Enhanced Living. I decided I wanted to jump on and just kind of talk about raising your frequency and raising your vibration and what that means. Now, I know that originally in my first episode, I had said that we were going to be once a week coming out. But I've decided that from time to time, and possibly even on a very regular basis, I would like to come out maybe on a Thursday or a Friday and just drop a little bit of something that's on my mind, something that I want to share. And I just want to backtrack for a second because the reason I want to talk about this specific topic about raising your vibration, raising your energy, raising your frequency, and what that means, and also give you a little bit of a tidbit of how to do that. Well, I also have a YouTube page by the same name, Enhanced Living. And I put up an episode, I want to say about 2 months ago, that had to do with a quote from Rumi that says, "What you seek is seeking you." And in that video, I discussed how wherever you're vibrating, wherever your frequency is, right, that's what you're attracting. And so when you're looking for something, when you're seeking something, when you're trying to become what it is that you want to become or achieve what it is that you want to achieve, as long as your vibration matches that, you will achieve it. It's there. It's that simple. So I had a comment on the actual video where someone said, "I don't understand. What do you mean by raising your vibration? I don't understand it." And so I answered, of course, in the comments and let him know what I was talking about. And I said, maybe I'll make a video about it. But then my podcast came about and I decided, you know what? Let's just do an episode right here, right now about raising your frequency and raising your vibration. So what does it mean? Because virtually every spiritual teacher or text will talk to you about raising your vibration, raise your energy, raise your frequency. And I know that for a lot of people, myself included at one point, that sounds like a whole bunch of just spiritual mumbo jumbo. Like, what does it mean? How do you raise your frequency? Like, what are you even talking about? It's actually really simple. Your thoughts and feelings carry energy. We know this through quantum physics. If you want to do the research on your own, go for it. It's been proven through science that literally everything is energy. The particles that make up matter through quantum physical experiments or quantum physics experiments, I'm probably using the wrong terms here because I'm not a quantum physicist, but they've shown that the particle, right, that creates matter can also be a wave, which is energy. It's light energy, right? So knowing this and knowing the sheer space between the atoms and in the molecules that create matter, and even within the atoms, how much sheer space there is, comparatively speaking, it's like between the earth and the sun for gases. And then if you look at physical matter, it's like between the earth and the moon. The space is it's literally astronomical. So we know that everything is energy, which means that your thoughts and your feelings also carry energy, which means they carry a frequency, they carry a vibration. And there's a spectrum. So when you're feeling something that's fear-based, because in truth, there are really only two real feelings. It's fear and it's love. Fear is responsible for all of the negative emotions. And we say negative, but they're the one that we say negative because they don't make you feel good. They make you feel terrible, right? So if you're coming from a place of fear, you're going to have anger, frustration, sorrow, grief, sadness, denial. All these negatively perceived emotions are fear-based because they're literally triggered by a fear of something. If you were to actually start examining the feeling that you're feeling when you're angry, or the feeling that you're feeling when you're, any of those negative, anything on that negative spectrum, if you were to really examine where it comes from and really go, but why do I feel this way? What is causing this? Where is that coming from? You will eventually boil it down to a fear of something every single time. On the opposite end of that spectrum is love. Love is the positive side of it. It is what brings all the happy feeling emotions that you can possibly think of. They're all rooted in love. So if you can come from a place of love, you're going to vibrate at a higher frequency. If you come from a place of fear, you're going to vibrate at a lower frequency. Now, they've shown as well through scientific methods and different types of photography that you can actually photograph somebody's aura. That's the energy field that encircles us, because everything emits energy, right? So in that energy field, you are literally projecting your current vibration, your current feeling, your current set of, or your current frequency, I should say. It's projecting up to 3, possibly more feet around you in all directions, which means that as you walk into a room, people can literally feel your energy. And so that's what spiritual teachers, spiritual texts are talking about when they say that your energy introduces you before you even say a word. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression before, but it's actually true. So the proof of where you're vibrating, right, is really in how you're feeling. So you have to be able to check in with yourself at any given moment and say, okay, well, am I happy right now? Am I feeling fearful? Am I feeling love? What am I feeling? And when you really dial in on what you're feeling, you'll get an idea of where you're vibrating and where your frequency is. So what are the benefits of raising your vibration, and who really cares anyway, right? Well, beyond the fact that when you're vibrating at a higher frequency and you're in a better feeling place, you feel better. So that right there is the simple, obvious thing. But you've always experienced, whenever you're in the room with someone who is negative or who is complaining, you don't feel good, right? It's not a good feeling when someone's in that kind of like that Eeyore phase, right? The woe is me, but the problem with this is the one who's always pointing out the negative side of things. Do you want to hang out with that person? No, you don't. But the person who's always infectious with their energy and is always, walking into a room and lighting it up with the most beautiful smile ever. And you tell them a problem and they go, I feel you. I get you. I see you. I understand you. And I'm with you. But you know what? It's gonna be okay. Those are the people you go to for advice when things aren't going well. So the reason why we want to raise our vibration is because if you're high vibing and coming from that love place, that's what you're projecting in your energetic field. That's what you're introducing yourself with before you ever say a word to anybody. That's what it comes out in photographs. It comes out in your voice. It comes out when you walk into a room. It comes out through your smile or through your frown, right? So why do you want to vibrate in that higher frequency? Very simple, because you're going to attract more of that higher frequency. And that's ideally what we all want. Now, I know you're sitting there and you're going, but Adam, sometimes I don't feel good. Sometimes things happen and they affect me. And I'm sad, or I'm lonely, or I'm any number of whatever's on that spectrum of not vibrating at that higher frequency. Well, guess what? It's not that difficult to change one thought to move yourself from sad to hopeful. You can always change that vibration from sad to hopeful. So you don't have to go immediately from sad to ecstatic, because that's impossible. It's a total energetic mismatch. The same way that you're not going to go from completely ecstatic to completely miserable. Those two feelings just don't match. They will not coincide. It's not a possibility. So you have to be able to just get the next best feeling. So it's okay to acknowledge that you're sitting there and feeling in some kind of not happy place, right? The question is, can you reach for just the next one that's up? Not the total all the way. Like, you're not going to go from miserable to ecstatic, like we just said. You are going to be able to go just a step up. And then once you get to that step up, reach for the next step. And that's how you gradually shift your frequency and shift your vibration. Now, how do awareness and meditation play into this? Because as you know, if you've been listening, meditation and awareness are a huge part of, I think, life. They're the most necessary things that you can employ in your quest to become the best version of yourself. If you can be aware of your thoughts and feelings, then you're aware of your vibration and your frequency. And that means that puts you in the driver's seat, in control of being able to change and shift that frequency and that vibration. Now, meditation is what allows you to become more aware. When you sit in meditation and you you literally just clear your mind and focus on awareness. You're practicing, you're exercising that muscle, much the same way when you go to the gym. If you're doing back squats or you're doing curls or you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're doing cardio or weightlifting, you're building a muscle. If you're doing cardio, you're working your heart muscle and your vasculatory or circulatory system. If you're doing weights, you're working out your muscles and you're growing stronger. Well, it's the exact same thing with meditation. When you meditate consistently, you're increasing that awareness muscle. And I'm using air quotes. You can't see me right now, but you're increasing that awareness muscle. And so when you're constantly able to be aware, instead of only finding out that you're just miserable, as soon as you start to slip from peaceful or blissful to, I'm a little annoyed or I'm a little uncomfortable, as soon as you start to slip into that phase, you go, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm a little annoyed. Why am I annoyed? What's going on? Is this even true? And it allows you to introspect to the point where you can turn it around. And that's the whole point of meditation and awareness. Now, if you've listened to the very first episode, I touched briefly on the fact that I am an empath. Now, what an empath is someone who can literally pick up and feel other people's feelings. Now, I know I said I'm an empath, but the truth of the matter is everyone is, right? I just brought up before that we all project I guess you could say we project our vibrational frequency in our energy field, right? In the energetic field that surrounds us. That comes out no matter what we're doing. We all have the capacity to tap into that. So if you're able to still your mind and meditate and practice awareness, eventually you're going to pick up on other people's feelings as well. Now, I can get into how to protect yourself, which I really don't like using that term because you're never truly in danger. I mean, of course, yes, there's physical danger, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the psychic or emotional or spiritual danger that some people will use to try to scare you into, following a certain path. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the fact that sometimes, as someone who's tapped into their empathic abilities, if someone comes in with a really negative or really heavy energy around them because they're just so enveloped in their story and so enveloped in that negative vibration or frequency, if you're picking up on that, you can literally feel it too, and it feels awful, and it can really kind of pull you down. So there is a way to be able to just kind of acknowledge it and then go, you know what, that's not mine. And it's really about simply being aware and going, oh, you know what? I was feeling fine until I just started talking to this person. They must have something that they're not sharing, something that's going on deep down inside. It's not mine. And again, I'll always tell you this, awareness is key, because as soon as you become aware of it, it's like shining a flashlight into a dark room. The darkness is that heavy feeling. The flashlight is your awareness. As soon as you put your awareness on it, the darkness disappears. So there's another saying that says that you can't release a problem until you acknowledge that you're holding on to it in the first place. And that's super wise, because until you can honestly look at yourself and say, you know what? I go straight to the worst case scenario. Okay, cool. That's amazing. That is an amazing realization to have, because as soon as you come up with the fact that you realize that that's what you're doing, you're able to change it. Awareness is the key. Meditation is the key maker. And I'm just coming up with that right now, but it's true. If you can cultivate a meditation practice, you will create the key, which is awareness. And that is what unlocks your true happiness. This is what will help you actively work on bringing your default mood and feeling to a higher vibration. And so that's what I'm talking about when I say raise your frequency or raise your vibration. It's not about, sitting there and working with crystals, although if that works for you, wonderful, go for it. Whatever works to accelerate that process so that you can be aware, that's the most important thing. So I just kind of wanted to jump on today and talk about raising your frequency, raising your vibration, raising the energy to the point where you can recognize what's going on and reach for that higher vibing frequency. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am eternally grateful for you being here. And, I wanted to say this as well. We have a wonderful group that my wife Charisse, we are running on Facebook. It's called Enhanced Living. It's by the same name. Come and join the group on Facebook. It's really a wonderful place for anyone who is like-minded to connect. We both actually post inspiring memes. I don't want to say memes, but actually inspiring content on a daily basis. And there's going to be some really cool announcements in there in the future. So it's, again, same name as the podcast, Enhanced Living. It's on Facebook. Continue to live enhanced, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Enhanced Living Podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast player. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to reach me directly at enhancedliving.net. Thanks for listening.